On this episode of the Everett Lee Show, we talk about Wrestlemania 39, Night 1, Night 2, plus the WWE Sale. And joining me to talk and discuss about this is none other than Chris Carnage, and it happens right now.
The Everett Lee Show podcast, a shot of entertainment.
Ladies and gentlemen, joining me back on the Everett Lee Show, a longtime friend, longtime compadre, me and Chris right here. We're the founders of Podcasting Network, and he's back. I'm going to give a big welcome and a round of applause for Chris Carnage. How you doing?
Hey, fans. Here for another exciting podcast. It's been a while, not going to lie, but feels good to be back.
It certainly does, don't it? It certainly does feel good to be back, man. It's been a while, and I mean, I was like out of the blue. You called me up the other day and was like, "Hey, let's do a show together." So we pretty much talked, planned out what we're going to do, and here's what we have going on tonight right here. We're live on the Everett Lee Show Facebook page. You can follow that over on Everett Lee Show. Just search Everett Lee Show on Facebook. You can follow Everett Lee on Twitter at the Everett _Lee, Instagram, Everett Lee, and on YouTube, Everett Lee. And everything is in the description of this episode right now. So you want to check out the links right there. The City Limits Tap Room, Bar and Grill right there. We got a link right there. And also Joners Podcast Network. The Everett Lee Show is part of the Joners Podcast Network, wrestling with joners.com. There, I said it right. And we already got someone in the chat, Chris. David C. Russell, Deathmatch Wrestle Podcast. He says, well. Hello, Everett Lee and Chris freaking Carnage.
That's right. It's always good to see David C. Russell in the chat.
Yep.
Good guy there.
It certainly is, man. It certainly is. And this is going to be great tonight, man. I mean, it's been a while since I last talked with you and stuff. What's been going on with Chris Carnage, man, since last time I talked with you?
It's definitely been a while. Final score, sadly, has come to a close. It has run its life, so there is no more final score. However, Chris Carnage is getting back into the swing of things, though, as I've now become a full-time Twitch streamer. I've been streaming 3 to 5 days a week, streaming things like NCAA college football, Call of Duty, WWE 2K, all kinds of different games. So been a lot of fun. We're getting a little bit of traction with that, as well as a small announcement, I guess I could say here, is that there's now a push to get Chris Carnage to Mad with Power Festival in Madison, Wisconsin this August, to see bands like Lords of the Trident, A Sound of Thunder, of course, our good friend Seven Kingdoms, among many other great bands, and the great promoter there, Ty Christian, great guy. So going to be trying to do that, and there's a lot more on the horizon that I can't announce yet, but definitely got to make sure to keep glued to my social media, my Twitch page, as more announcements will be coming soon.
Oh, nice. That's amazing, man. You got back in the gaming and stuff. Remind me on the first episode 17, with yourself and me playing WWE 2K. I think it was 16. We were playing that, man. There's some great memories there. And we ended up later on another episode, you and me playing that again. And you got one up on me. So we're 1 for 1 on that game.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Of course, I haven't played the new WWE 2K23, which I heard is amazing. Have not played it yet, though. Hopefully might be getting that sometime here in the near future, so we can start playing that one and move on from 2K22. But, all in good time.
Nice. David C. Russell says, very cool. And we are aware of the situation right now. But besides that, dude, let's get into talking about one of the biggest WrestleMania weekends. And it's been a while since I've done anything like this. I think the last time I did a recap of a WrestleMania with you was a few years ago. So those viewing and listening, I'm a little bit rusty on this, so don't mind me, man. So let's talk about WrestleMania. Again, biggest WrestleManias, 2 nights. And night 1 had a lot of story that was told in the ring, which was fantastic. There was a lot of story told in the ring from the opening match to the ending match. Just some great in-ring action. And pretty much the show opened up with the United States Championship on the line. Austin Theory defending the United States Championship against John Cena. Chris, we've seen John Cena at the end of 2022 on the last final SmackDown of the year, man. And we haven't seen him actually really do anything in a WrestleMania ring for a few years now?
Yeah, it's been a few years. Realistically, looking at John Cena's body of work, this man doesn't need to come back and wrestle at all. He's done it all. But the big thing that I looked at here is that this is John Cena's attempt to still not only be relevant in the wrestling world, but also be a part of WrestleMania, which everybody always wants to be a part of WrestleMania, which we're going to talk about some things that happened at Mania a little bit later about how people got involved. So it is interesting, though, that John Cena wanted to do United States Championship match against Austin Theory. I feel like WWE is trying to do everything they can to get Austin Theory over, and they are just not having any success with that. So I don't know, man. The match overall, though, wasn't horrible, but it wasn't great either. So the match was what it was for an Austin Theory versus John Cena style match. So, it wasn't too bad for an opener.
Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, there's some good action at the beginning there. It's paced slow, and then things started picking up, and I loved the heat Austin gets from the crowd, man. He was getting heat. He was like, I'm going to make you believe in me. And just the crowd just giving it back, booing him. And there was one part in that match where he was just dominating. And then Cena came back, and then he shut down the momentum, man. It went back and forth there. The momentum changed, and there towards the end, Cena with the big comeback. As soon as I seen the flying shoulder, I can't even pronounce that word.
Can't even English right now.
Yeah, I can't. The shoulder tackles. There, I got it out finally. After we seen that happen, and then which led into you can't see me in the 5-knuckle shuffle. He goes to attempt for the AA. Gets by the ropes. Austin grabs the ropes, and of course Cena don't see what's going on, and he pulls Austin away. Ref gets knocked out. Oh no, what's gonna happen? Oh no. Ooh.
Oh no.
And then Cena puts Theory in the STFU. Theory taps, but no official to ring the bell to give the victory to Cena. Cena goes over to find out what's going on with the ref, and he turns back around with his attention to Theory. Low blow, A-Town down, 1, 2, 3. Still your United States champion, Austin Theory, and the crowd did not like that.
No, they did not.
They did not. I know we're going to hear for the rest of the year that Austin Theory was the guy who beat John Cena at WrestleMania. Like Brock Lesnar is the one who defeated the Undertaker's winning streak at WrestleMania. Same thing. We're going to hear this all year with Theory,
Absolutely we are. And at some point, though, WWE has to pull the plug on Theory, because they just can't get him over. I don't know what's missing for him not to be able to engage with the fans. I don't know if it's maybe his weak mic skills or just the fact that his match quality isn't always the greatest, but I don't know. I'm just not sold on Austin Theory.
Yeah, I'm pretty much just he's still trying to find his rhythm. He's still trying to find that. But the thing is that Theory, he's doing great as a heel. I love his in-ring work. It's great. He brings heat, and he plays that heel character just right. But yeah, it's just he needs to find something. I mean, yeah, okay, the biggest point in his career. Right now, he knocked off John Cena. That's what he basically did. He knocked off John Cena. WC Russell don't care for him. So hey, he's doing his job. He's doing his job, man. He's definitely doing his job there with getting the heat from the crowd. That's what I like. I like a good heel to have heat and give it back to the crowd. That's good work right there. And I like to see what he does next. I do. He needs to have that. He needs to have another big feud. That's what he needs right there. Money.
Yeah, he ain't lying.
He's not lying about that right there. But next match, we have the four-way tag team showcase match. We have the Street Profits going up against Alpha Academy, going up against Braun Strowman and Ricochet, and going up the Viking Raiders. I want to throw this out here. My brother likes the Viking Raiders. It reminds him of a modern day Demolition, how they work. So I want to throw that out there, the tidbit. But this match was nuts. They Triple H probably told these guys, Chris, hey, go have fun. And what these guys do, they had fun there, man. There were some great moments and spots in this match once everything started going there. There certainly wasn't there?
Oh yeah, absolutely. There was a lot of high spots in this. Which I really feel like this match was more of a match that they made to try and make sure guys like Braun Strowman and Ricochet and whatnot made it onto the actual card for WrestleMania. But this match, I think, kind of exceeded expectations for what it was supposed to be. So honestly, hats off to these guys. There's a lot of the crazy stuff they did in that match.
Yeah, they did a lot of stuff, man. I like Gable doing the German suplex to Braun. Shoes, please. Yeah, David says actually also throwback to our friends Roy Highlander. Yep, from the Highlanders there. That's right. Yeah, Gable, I love his background. Okay. I love his background, and he's a great in-ring performer right now. Him and Otis are great together, and they didn't slow down in this match. Gable got in that spot, suplexed Braun Strowman, which I thought was amazing.
That German was something.
That definitely was something there. And then, of course, Braun with the doing the Strowman Express around the ring and getting hit by Angelo Dawkins, and then look at Ricochet, man, shooting star press. He was flying out the ring there. He was, and then also there was that spot where they did that quadruple, superplex.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That quadruple superplex. That was huge. That's like I said, they had a lot of good high spots in that match that really flowed well. And like I said, hats off to those guys, man, making the most out of, because honestly, who really wants to be in a 4-way tag match? At the end of the day, though, they made the best of that situation and turned out a good match.
It did, and they went out there and entertained the crowd. Crowd was popping, man. They had the crowd. The crowd. If you could take the crowd along with you on the ride, you're doing something right there. And they definitely were doing something right there with having that crowd, taking them along the way. And the finish was just great when Ricochet did that shooting star press. Angelo Dawkins grabbed him, blocked him, and held him there. And Montez Ford with the frog splash on top of Ricochet while Dawkins had him held, and then Dawkins rolled him over 1, 2, 3. It was just so smooth. And your winner, Street Profits, man. The Street Profits picked up the victory on that. How'd you feel about them having that victory here?
Well, I really thought it was going to be Braun Strowman and Ricochet, honestly, and they kind of set up for that a little bit. But I think it was a great swerve to have the Street Profits win it, and hats off to them and them putting the Street Profits over. Because I think they're a really good tag team, bring a lot of energy and a lot of great ideas to the ring. So I'm definitely not mad at it.
Yeah, I'm definitely not mad at it, because I said to my brother, I said, Whoever wins out of this match, they're going to go after the tag team championships, no matter who's holding it at the end of the night. We may see it on a Monday Night Raw or what, but Street Profits certainly came out as the victors in that match. Third match. What was the third match? I'm trying to remember here. I forgot to bring up my notes. I was going by memory there because there's so many matches.
There's a total, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 matches on night one. So it's definitely very easy to lose them in translation there. If I remember correctly, I want to say it was Seth Rollins and Logan Paul.
Yes, that was the third match. Yes, Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul there. Pretty good build up for this. They had it was a good story because Seth Rollins got eliminated from the Royal Rumble. Logan Paul messed up his chances to win the United States Championship at the Elimination Chamber, and had some back and forth stuff there, and Rollins got knocked out twice by Paul, and of course they just went back and forth. And the thing is that you pretty much, Rollins was a fan favorite to win this one, and that pretty much just Logan Paul coming in with his looking like there, man. Coming in. What WrestleMania was that when Shawn Michaels came in like that, man? What was it? Was that 10 or 11?
I want to say that was 10. I really want to say it was 10, but I could be wrong.
Yeah. I think it was 10 though. But yeah, he came in there and he's like, "Hey, it's my birthday. I bought a zip line." It's like, whoop-de-doo. I didn't care. It's just my brother started freaking out and he's like, "Hey man, he missed Paul." I was like,
WrestleMania 12.
WrestleMania 12. Okay.
Had to look it up.
Had to look it up there. But great. I didn't really care too much about the conductor, for Rollins there. They piping in that right there. I mean, I was sitting there. My brothers were like, "All right, come on, man. Let's get this going here and just get Seth Rollins out there." So Seth Rollins comes out.
Yeah.
And shout out to Phil Manchester. He's asking, Vince back in control? We'll talk more about that later after the recap and the sale of WrestleMania there. Yeah, I got a lot to get off my chest about that after last night, but yeah, we're going to get to that. Rollins comes out to the ring, crowd just singing his praises, 80,000 people singing his praises, and match starts. Some good back and forth match action there with Rollins and Logan, and Logan did try to get a one-up on Rollins there a couple times, but Rollins ends up trying to use the momentum of Logan to put him away. Logan, he kept trying to get some pinfalls, close pinfalls, and the action ended up spilling outside the ring, which was my favorite part there. Rollins comes back with that hot comeback, Chris, and gets Logan outside the ring, and this was like the difference maker to me. When he did those 3 suicide dives, and then when Logan went over and stuck his hand on the step, and then Seth just stomped on it, I was like, wow, I didn't expect that, man.
That was pretty interesting. But I think my favorite part of the match was when you saw the Prime Drink get involved, which was played by KSI. He came over and was trying to video Logan Paul doing the top rope maneuver off of the top turnbuckle to the outside onto the table, and Seth Rollins rolls off, pulls KSI onto the table, and Logan Paul splashes onto KSI. I thought that was great.
Yeah, that was great. My brother called it. He said, watch, he's going to pull him on the table. We're like, and we pulled him on the table there. Yeah, the frog splash. That was played out great. Logan gets thrown back into the ring, and if I remember, he knocks Rollins out, but it was, since his hand was hurt, it wasn't enough. He tried to go over for the cover. He couldn't go for the cover, and then they got back up to their feet. Rollins ends up hitting a pedigree and a stomp. 1, 2, 3. Your winner, Seth freaking Rollins. Did you expect Rollins to win this, or did you expect Logan Paul to win it because it was his birthday?
I felt like it could have went either way, honestly. This was one of those kind of matches. I think it was just kind of a toss-up. But given that Seth Rollins is, an entrenched talent versus Logan Paul, who's a celebrity part-timer technically right now, I felt like Seth Rollins probably was going to go over just because of that fact alone. So Seth Rollins is going to be more involved. Not saying that Logan Paul won't be involved probably going forward, but he's not going to be anywhere near as involved as Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is a full-time guy. So yeah, not too surprised.
Yeah. Seth Rollins, I think he needed this victory because of after, he overcoming the getting knocked out twice, and this is what he needed to secure a win here at Mania. So how many times has he won at Mania? He's won a few times already, hasn't he?
Rollins?
Yeah.
Let's find out.
Yeah, he won at 30. He cashed in, won the title at 31. He won the Intercontinental Championship at 32, 33. Actually, I think at 33, something like that. He beat Lesnar. He's won the Intercontinental Championship, and he's won probably about 4 or 5 times in the last 10 years he's been around.
So going into WrestleMania weekend, he is 6-3.
Oh, okay. 6-3.
Oh, correction. He's now actually including WrestleMania 39. I guess now he is 7-4.
7-4. When did he lose those 4 times?
I just had it up. Hold on. So his matches at WrestleMania 29, one as the Shield versus Sheamus, Randy Orton, and Big Show. Yes. One at 30 as the Shield. One lost at 31 to Randy Orton. One at WrestleMania 31 when he had the steal of the century with cashing his Money in the Bank against Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. WrestleMania 33, he won against Triple H. WrestleMania 34, he won versus The Miz and Finn Balor. 35, he won against Brock Lesnar. And then he's actually lost the last 3 WrestleManias. He lost to Kevin Owens at 36, Cesaro at 37, and Cody Rhodes at 38. And then he won against Logan Paul.
Wow. Pretty good win-loss record there. Pretty good. People forget about that WrestleMania 31 when he wrestled twice that night. People forget about it. They remember him cashing in. They don't remember him wrestling Randy Orton earlier that day. And Orton,
great match.
Oh God, yeah. He went for the stomp, and Orton threw him up in the air. And when on his way down, he jumped up and RKO'd him as on his way coming down, which was great. Great finish. But Logan Paul gets defeated by Seth freaking Rollins, and we move on to the next match, which was, I just had it right here. Here we go. Oh, what is my notes doing? Nope, that's night 2. Night 1, there we go. Okay, next we have, what was it? We had Rey Mysterio versus Dominic Mysterio, father versus son, right? Yep, that right there. That story's been brewing for a long time, man. That story has been brewing right there with Dominic. I mean, it started at the beginning of the year. Dominic turning on his father, joining Judgment Day. Pretty much just it just was a pretty good story, and you didn't know if Rey was going to join or fight his son or not. His son kept pushing at it, and finally he gave in, had enough, and here we are with this match right here. Dominic, man, comes in like with the corrections entrance. What do you think about that?
Weak. Like, come on. I like this whole thing with Dominic Mysterio trying to act so hard because he went to jail. Like, has been the most hilarious thing. And it kills me because there's a lot of wrestling pundits that think Dominic Mysterio could be like one of the next big stars in wrestling, and it's like, how? I don't see it. I just don't. I think he's weak on the mic. They have him with Rhea Ripley and the Judgment Day to try and help make him look better. All of them are better mic workers than he is, though. So I don't know. But the entrance I thought was kind of funny, and he's wearing the Rey Mysterio mask because he was coming out too. Like, I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, this guy was in county for 2 hours, and I done hard time. It's like,
oh my
what
gosh.
He gets to the ring, and then Rey Mysterio comes out. I loved coming out with the lowrider coming out there to Ain't Nothing But a G thing, with Snoop Dogg 1, 2, 3 to the 4. Snoop Doggy Dogg and Dr. Dre's knocking at your door. I love that song, man. And the tribute to Eddie, the crowd popped for that, man. He came out, doing it was
coming
great.
out with Snoop Dogg and the lowrider, and God, it was so good. It was so good.
Yeah, it was. I was like, hell yeah, I love this. So Rey and Mysterio have their match there. Back and forth. They started out. Rey ended up getting the upper hand there on his dad, and Rey. My favorite part I popped was when he took his belt off and whipped his ass on the corner.
So good. That was so good.
Old fashioned ass whipping. Get your kid in line. I was right there as a parent. I'm like, yeah, that's happened to me growing up. I mean, I had that and the switch. I mean, I'm sure you can relate to that.
Oh yes, the good old paddlings. But another thing too is you saw Bad Bunny get involved in this match at the end, taking the chain away from Dominic Mysterio to help Rey go over. But the big thing though is I don't think this rivalry is going to be over yet. I don't think it is.
No, especially when he got in his mom's face and bad mouthing they went the verbal bad mouthing, and I looked at his sister. She had a drink, and I'm like, she's going to throw the drink in his face or vice versa. And it was timed perfectly. He snatched that drink out of his sister's hand and threw it right at her. I just was like, wow, this is great, man. Bring some more element, more heat to Dom. But the Judgment Day tried to inject themselves, and thank God the newly formed LWO came out and had Rey's back. Thank God someone had his back in this, because he was outnumbered, and thank God they came out and helped him, and he ended up securing the win right there and beating his son at WrestleMania, because I thought Dom was going to win. And I thought leading up to this, Chris, I figured that there's going to be where Rey's saying, you know what, I'm going to put my career on the line, but it didn't happen. So, the newly, class of 2023 Hall of Famer beat his son there. And I agree with you. There's no way this is going to be done. We're still going to see more of this happen.
Absolutely, you will. But I think that's part of what behind the scenes look at it, what Dominic and Rey would want. Just because at the end of the day, it's not every day you're in a position to have a father-son feud like this. So this is something I think is going to probably carry out at least till Backlash, if not maybe a little further.
Yep. Next up on our card, we got six women tag match. We have Damage Control, Bailey, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky going up against the women tag team champions, the man Becky Lynch with Lita and Trish Stratus. Man, when you need to pull out some, veteran star power, they certainly did it in this match here with Trish and Lita. And I never thought in a million years I'd see Trish Stratus come back in a wrestle at a WrestleMania, but Lita coming back and winning a tag team championship with Becky Lynch, man. That right there, that's, I didn't expect that. But at this time, I feel the momentum of the crowd was kind of like suck out because of all the stuff that's happened before this match. And Damage Control, Bailey and Dakota Kai and Io Sky and Trish, Lita, and Becky all got in the ring and they started brawling at it, man. And there was some, tag team wrestling right there. Io cut off, I think it was Becky. They cut the ring off. I know a good tag team wrestling match when you cut the ring off and they try to go for the hot tag there. When the other person is trying to get the hot tag, they can't get that hot tag because they're over in the corner. We saw a lot of that here in this match here. And when Trish Stratus got in, I mean, there was some, pops and stuff and everything, but there were some moments there. Again, the momentum I felt, Chris, was kind of sucked out of the arena by this point. What happened prior.
Yeah, the big thing though I saw with this match, and not saying it was a bad match, but the big thing I noticed is that it felt like Lita and Trish Stratus both, you could tell they were rusty in this match. And had a few instances where it felt like they weren't laying stuff in, or they were just like maybe a little slow to the step. And I think it kind of brought the match down a little bit in my eyes. Overall, though, the match wasn't bad, but it's just, I don't know, that aspect kind of stuck with me.
Yeah, it's just they don't move like they used to. They don't move like they used to, but they were still entertaining. I mean, I was glad to see Lita. Yeah, I was glad to see Trish back. Still doing what they do, what they love and stuff. But the one thing is that it was neat that you saw some old school stuff getting pulled out, like the Hardy Boy thing, Poetry in Motion. I thought that was pretty neat. I haven't seen that in a while. Lita trying to go for a twist of fate, Trish trying to go for she landed the Stratisfaction. And in the end, yes, the chick kick. And what about the head scissors outside the ring when they did that?
I thought that was pretty good. I thought that was pretty good, even though they almost botched it because she didn't quite get her feet around her throat, but it was covered up very nicely. But yeah, I was surprised they did that spot. That was something.
Yeah, I bet Trish was like, "Well, I never thought about doing that before," and it was like, I wonder who said, "Hey, Trish, you ever thought about doing that outside? Someone outside the ring?" Which I thought was pretty neat. It was something different from coming from someone like a veteran like that. But in the end, Becky Lynch, Lita, and Trish Stratus pick up the win on Damage Control, and it looks like that feud's pretty much over for right now.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I think that's going to be done. That and Bailey made an interesting post today about saying how sometimes romantic love comes to an end. Bye. So a lot of people are taking that as possibly Bailey maybe trying to move on, or maybe there's going to be a big change in angle with her and her storyline. So I don't know. Could be interesting.
Yeah, definitely could be interesting. It definitely can. Our next match, we're winding down night one here by this point here. It's not in the notes here because this was one of the things. I think did the Miz thing happen before the women's match or after the women's match? I think it happened before the women's match.
I think it did happen before the women's match.
Yeah. So the Miz comes out and him and Snoop Dogg. I mean, he's running his mouth, comparing himself to Snoop Dogg, and all of a sudden Pat McAfee comes out.
Good old Pat McAfee.
Pat McAfee. Chris, you know who Pat McAfee is from football and stuff. I know you know who he is what you followed football, right?
But for those who don't know, Pat McAfee used to be the punter for the Indianapolis Colts for a number of years. Really great punter. Was always able to nail guys down inside the 10-yard line like it was going out of style. But one thing he always brought was a lot of charisma, and he was definitely a little bit of a trash talker on the football field. That has translated to him being in WWE in the most amazing of ways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So one thing I like about Pat McAfee is the fact he went to ESPN wanting to be a sports correspondent. They told him, no, you're never going to be one. So he gave them the finger and he was like, you know what? I'm going to do things my way. The Pat McAfee show became a huge success. This guy built something from nothing, and great guests, great conversations, great talk and everything. And what happened? NBC or ESPN, came knocking on his door and said, hey, you want to cover, what is it? The March Madness? If I'm saying that right there, that
Yep.
March Madness.
Madness.
Yeah. So they offered him a deal and everything. And he had them come knock on his door because they saw how valuable and how entertaining and charisma he brings, which was great. He was also great on Friday Night SmackDown as an announcer with Michael Cole. Him and Michael Cole had some great chemistry, even at the Royal Rumble. Yeah. Even at the Royal Rumble this year, they had great chemistry doing the 3-man commentary. But Pat McAfee, that's the thing I like about him. He was like, you know what, I'm going to do my own thing, and he did. And look where he's at. He's getting so many offers now and stuff because of WWE and ESPN and him doing the McAfee show. But Pat came out and had a match with The Miz and beat him.
And what was even better about that is during the match, they got also George Kittle, tight end for the San Francisco 49ers, involved in the match and ended up giving a huge clothesline to The Miz. So really great stuff, honestly, to see the Football Brothers right there coming out and giving it to The Miz.
Yeah. How do you feel about that when you see football players do little spots like that at WrestleManias? How do you feel about that?
Honestly, I like it. I think it's something that that really brings some intrigue, and when you bring athletes in, when we've seen it in years past, even dating all the way back to early Manias, where you saw like Lawrence Taylor get involved. We've seen Rob Gronkowski get involved. Now we have George Kittle and Pat McAfee. These football guys that get involved, I absolutely love it. And we've seen a lot of guys who've come from the football world who've been able to have successful wrestling careers. First ones that come off the top of the head is Goldberg, who used to play for the Atlanta Falcons. A lot of people don't realize that. Baron Corbin used to play for the Arizona Cardinals. JBL at one point, if I remember correctly, played for the Oakland Raiders. So
Yep.
A lot of guys that have been involved in wrestling. Of course, one of the best, Ron Simmons, was a huge Florida State player and Florida State Hall of Famer. So it's crazy.
Played for the Miami Hurricanes.
Who?
The Rock played for the Miami Hurricanes.
Yeah, The Rock with the Miami Hurricanes and played in the CFL briefly. And currently owns the XFL. So, it's interesting. Or Titus O'Neil played for the Florida Gators. So there's a lot of guys who come from football backgrounds to be able to have successful wrestling careers. So I love seeing wrestlers get involved or football players get involved. I absolutely love it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was great right there. I mean, he did get a good reaction there because they're in California there. So they're like, oh yeah, San Francisco. Yeah.
Yep.
But it was one of those little comical, things. My brother's like, who's going to beat up The Miz tonight? It's like, who's going to beat him up? Pat McAfee beats him up tonight on night 1 of WrestleMania 39. Right after that, we get the promo and the package and the build up to Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown Women's Championship. 3 years ago, Charlotte wins the Royal Rumble, and who does she challenge? She don't challenge the Raw Women's Champion, the SmackDown Women's Champion. She goes after Rhea Ripley, the NXT Women's Champion, and an empty arena at WrestleMania 37. And Rhea loses to Charlotte. Charlotte wins, so they're 1-up. So this time, they're pretty much Rhea has been like when she won the Royal Rumble this year. It's like, oh yeah, she's going after Charlotte. She went after Charlotte. I was shocked, but then I was like, okay, look at the history these two's had. I mean, last 3 years. But this, I mean, Rhea comes out, with her dark entrance and her dark, aura, just Rhea reminds me of that ex-girlfriend you date, you dump, and she comes back looking like this, man. That's what
Oh my
Rhea
goodness.
Ripley reminds me of. Oh yeah, I dated a girl one time that was like Rhea Ripley, man. She was nice, sweet, and it was like, you know what, this ain't gonna work. And then all of a sudden she comes to school and then it's like, it's like, what the hell happened to you? Which Cure album did you put in and fall asleep to and waking up looking like that?
Oh my goodness.
So Rhea, I mean, it works for her. Okay, it works for her. If you Google search pictures of Rhea Ripley, she's actually a very pretty, beautiful woman without makeup and how she looks and stuff.
Oh, for sure.
But yeah, she's heel, man, heel mode. You got to play that heel. You got to be dark and deceptive, and stuff. And yeah, mommy, as Dom calls her. She comes out to the ring. Charlotte comes out to a big entrance, and you can kind of tell on her face, she's like, I should be main eventing, not Kevin Owens and Sammy and the Usos. But you know what? You never get always what you want. So suck it up. You're the co-main event. So there you go. So this match, Chris, I didn't know what to expect out of this. I did not know what the pace and how this match was going to go, if this was going to stink up the ring or it was going to be something. It turned out to be great. The crowd hung on to this, man. There was a lot of moments there. You could tell in this story, the story that was presented in the ring, dude, man, Rhea wanted that championship. I don't know if you got that same thing watching this. It's like she was trying everything, throwing everything out there. She wanted this damn championship. She wanted it. She needed it in this match. And one of my favorite spots is that suplex outside the ring into the ring there, which I thought was amazing there. That was such a great spot there. But did you like the pacing and the story that was being told in the ring here? Could you feel it like with the crowd and you're like, damn, man, who's going to win this match?
Honestly, this match was great. It was one of my favorites from the whole weekend. This was also the third longest match on both cards for days 1 and 2. So great match all the way through. A lot of great spots. Pacing will pick up and slow down when needed, but pick back up when needed. It was well timed, well done. Great spots. My favorite probably had to be the reversal into the DDT that Rhea Ripley took. It was one of the best head spike DDTs I have ever seen. Absolutely gorgeous. And this match was so well done, just so well done. And at the end, you see Charlotte Flair just smiling, happy for Rhea Ripley, as Rhea Ripley goes over and wins the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship, which I wasn't too surprised by because apparently Charlotte Flair has informed WWE that she's taking some time away after Mania. So we probably won't be seeing Charlotte Flair for a little while. Because apparently, from what the rumor is, Charlotte Flair is getting ready to start winding down her career. So,
really?
Yeah. So that came out today.
Wow.
But I think this was a great passing of the torch to Rhea Ripley, who I think has been one of the most unique women's talents they have right now, given her look and her heel persona and how she's able to portray herself. It's absolutely amazing match, though. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah. It was a great match, man. It definitely was. My brother was like, man, I wanted Charlotte to win. I'm like, Rhea, man, Rhea. He's like, yeah, she's gonna get the title back. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
It's like I don't want to tell you, bro. It's like there's something's gonna happen. So, but yeah, he enjoyed the match. I enjoyed the match there. We get the main event, Chris. Night 1. I was glad this was the main event for night 1 here. You have the Undisputed Tag Team Championship match. The Usos defending the tag titles against Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Man, what a hell of a story and main event for night 1 going down, because Don't you agree that this is the right type of story and main event for night one to close out WrestleMania 39, night one?
Oh, absolutely. It was also the second longest match of the whole weekend. Absolutely amazing. Everything that was done in this match. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn and the Usos, I think, absolutely tore the house down. And the crowd was so engaged. They were so part of the match, feeding off every moment, feeding off every movement. It was just absolutely amazing.
It was. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn work very good as a tag team.
Absolutely, they do. And they've been able to make it happen not only in the past, but now you can see as they actually ended up going over in this match and winning the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships, which is the first time they've been able to win them together in WWE. So, and if I'm not mistaken, first time either of them have held tag gold. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be some good stuff for them moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was you or I was talking David C. Russell that he mentioned that on their pants they were in the PWG on somewhere on the pants, and also they name dropped PWG. Michael Cole did.
Mm-hmm. And they made a lot of references to PWG throughout the match as well as to the location of where PWG is and stuff of that nature. So it was really great to kind of see that. We've kind of been seeing looser restrictions when it comes to name dropping promotions. Obviously, they're not allowed to name drop AEW outright, even though it has been name dropped on WWE television before. But it's great that they kind of gave that recognition because PWG turned out a lot of great talent. The Kevin Owens, the Sami Zayns, the Adam Coles, a lot of great wrestlers have went through PWG. All I remember was the Mount Rushmore of wrestling came out of PWG, which included Kevin Owens. So a lot of great stuff, man. A lot of great stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was definitely great there, especially towards the last part of this match here. I like the finish. I like Kevin Owens giving Jimmy the stunner, getting him out of the ring, and you got Sami Zayn and Jey Uso. Boom, haluva kick. I can't even say that. My nephew's like, you're saying it wrong. I was like, haluva kick. Well,
haluva kick.
Haluva kick. He gives it to him not once, not twice, but 3 times. You know what I like about this too? 3 times. I like the fact that Jay sold this so good, man. His body was lifeless. And then after that third kick, he just like comes on second kick, he comes out of the turnbuckle and he's just sitting there, and then Sammy puts him back and goes back that third time. 1, 2, 3. And the place popped, man. Your winners and new WWE Undisputed Tag Team Champions, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. And what a great way to end night one of WrestleMania 39.
Oh, yeah. It was absolutely amazing way to end it. Excuse me. And you can tell Triple H had his hands all over this with how the show went. Fans were very well engaged with most all the matches, and everything went without a hitch night one. So it was great stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely was. And like you said there, yeah, Triple H had his hand all over night one. Vince McMahon, of course, was at WrestleMania. Why would he not be at WrestleMania? This is something that he created. This was his baby right here. He was back in the back in his own little thing. And of course, he was on the headset and he was, listening in and, on what was going on. Triple H called all the shots. Mm-hmm. That kind of was until the next night. Your opening match, I was glad they got this in and out of the way because I didn't really care too much for this because to me, this was a Vince McMahon booked match. Brock Lesnar versus Omos, as Brock Lesnar calls him, Omos or Omos. Almost. I like that. He was like, almost. And then my brother calls him a moose. A moose.
Oh my gosh.
A moose. I had never seen a 7-foot tall guy botch a clothesline.
You ain't lying. It was horrible. This match honestly was probably my least favorite match of the whole weekend. It was also the shortest match of the weekend, coming in at just under 5 minutes. This match was literally set up just to put Brock Lesnar over. That's all this was for. It was like, okay, Brock, we're gonna give you a match where you can actually go over at WrestleMania, and you'll look dominant and good against a really big opponent. And that's how we end up with Brock Lesnar versus Omos. Or Omas. But but yeah, I was honestly kind of disappointed with this match overall.
Yeah. he definitely was, man. It's like nothing less, nothing more I expected out of this. Let me throw this back out here. I thought it was funny, the sponsorship spots in the WrestleMania. It was like the Super Bowl almost. A father and son want to kill each other. Yeah, this is brought to you by Cinnamon Toast Crunch. This one, they should have said, this match here is brought to you by Preparation H, because you're definitely going to have hemorrhoids after you watch this.
Oof. Oof.
Yes. Or this is brought to you by NyQuil. And it's like, take some now so you don't have to see this. But yeah, nothing more, nothing less I expected out of this one here, because this was a Vince McMahon, match. I'm sure he was probably in a monitor in a broom closet with a intern, sitting there, and he's like, oh yeah, this is what I like.
Oh my goodness.
You want to keep your job, like those grapefruits.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, but anyway, let's move on from that. let me throw about like 15 million, 20 million, and just move on from it. But besides that, our next match, Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler versus Natalya and Shotzi versus Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville.
Mm-hmm.
This match reminded me of a kickoff show match, a dark match, basically.
You ain't lying. Honestly, this match was set up to be just like the other 4-way tag team match we had on night one. This was just a way to be able to get people on the actual card, like Natalya and Ronda Rousey, and being able to use that star power to help bring people in and sell pay-per-views. So this match was also kind of disappointing. It was kind of a cluster. So I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of this match, but it was good to see, Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler actually come out on top, which I wasn't too surprised by either. But yeah, it was a kind of also a disappointing match.
It was. My brother, he was like, hey man, he's like, Ronda hasn't been in the ring. Look, she's finally getting in the ring. I'm like, yeah, she's taking it home. She did. Ronda Rousey took it home. And your winner was Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey. So in my mind, I'm like, you know what? They're going to go after the women's tag team championships. That's what's in my mind for these two. Because night one, Street Profits won. They're going to go after the tag titles because they're like number one contender.
Mm-hmm.
These girls, Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler, should be number one contenders for the women tag team championships. But we'll talk about more about that in a little bit. Yeah. This is, to me, this right here is where WrestleMania Night 2 actually kicked off. If anyone goes back and watches WrestleMania 39, skip the first two matches and get to this one right here.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for weeks for this one right here because I love all three competitors in this match right here. You had Gunther defending the Intercontinental Championship in a triple threat against Drew McIntyre and Sheamus. We know the story building up to this and what happened and everything and stuff. And Gunther at this time, he's already breaking records, is holding the Intercontinental Championship already the longest, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's since the year 2000, he's the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion ever in that time span. So, and this match, I think a testament to how good he could actually be. This match was one of my favorites. It was absolutely insane from start to finish, and it was very well done. I'm a huge fan of triple threat matches to begin with, just because of the amount of things you can do when it comes to a triple threat match. Um, I always loved wrestling in triple threat matches back in the day, but this one was just special. This was special on the level of what reminded me back at WrestleMania. What was it? WrestleMania 22, when they had Kurt Angle, Rey Mysterio, and Randy Orton. That was a special match. This felt the same way. And honestly, in my opinion, this is probably one of the best Intercontinental Championship matches that I've seen at WrestleMania, outside of Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and Macho Man Randy Savage.
I said to my brothers, Chris, I said, I hold this match right up here. My favorite all-time WrestleMania Intercontinental match, Macho Man Randy Savage versus Ricky the Steamboat. Nothing in years has come close to that at a WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. However, this match right there is my second favorite WrestleMania match right now. Is this right here? It holds almost a candle to what Savage and Steamboat did at WrestleMania 3. Man, I like how they got rid of Gunther, and Sheamus and Drew just went at it back and forth there. You could see the story right there, man. That's what I love about this. Some really good storytelling. You know, Drew winning that Intercontinental Championship, and Sheamus like, I need this. I was like, I've held every title in this company but the Intercontinental Championship, and I won it. I won it. And he wanted that. And he did not like the fact that he felt that his best friend stabbed him in the back. And is like, how dare you? You knew I wanted this. You knew it. But look at you sneaking around my back and challenging him. No.
And what was great is you saw that aspect come out a lot in the match too, where they would be battling each other, or they would like pull each other off from the pinfall or whatever the case would be, and you would see that stare down like, what are you doing? This is my opportunity. So very well told story with this match.
Yeah. You know how I look at Gunther in this match? Like Clerks.
Like who?
Clerks. He was Dante. Yeah. I'm not even supposed to be here.
I'm not even supposed to be here today.
That's how I looked at Gunther. And Gunther's like, you know what? Gunther played it smart. You know what? You tear each other up, and once you're done and you guys can't, continue, I'm going to come in. I'm going to pin one of you guys. He played it right. But god dang, the chop.
That was a stiff match. That was such a stiff match. All those knife edge chops. Oh, my chest was hurting for them. It was so bad.
I couldn't believe it. Cody said it right. He's like, I don't want to get in the ring with Gunther again after what happened at Royal Rumble.
Oh yeah, I don't blame him.
Damn, man, I'm serious. These guys, they took each other to school. Stiff. Yes, stiff. This was stiff, Chris. You took the words right out of my mouth, man. This was stiff, man. And the crowd was so in it. They were eating this up. This was like, to me, like one of the best Intercontinental Championship matches I've seen at a Mania in a long time. Very long time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I did like how, with the finish there, I thought Sheamus was going to win it, man. I was pulling for Sheamus to win this, man, and he didn't win it. Gunther came in and he did his Gunther bomb, 1, 2, 3, and he retained the Intercontinental Championship. And then after, I was upset about it, but then I was like, you know what? They want him to hold on to that championship, and when it's time for him to lose it, I hope Sheamus is there to get it. And if you imagine, if Sheamus gets this Intercontinental Championship, look at the story him and Drew can tell with it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I feel like if Gunther drops it, they have to start inserting him into the main event picture a little bit, because I feel like Gunther as a character is really strong. His in-ring work is absolutely phenomenal. And I feel like he's a guy that could truly be a main eventer in WWE. So hopefully he gets that kind of shot, but again, we'll see.
Yeah. Don't he remind you of an old school heel with the championship? He's like, I'll fight anyone. And then when he gets out there, it's like he makes sure, like when he has to, he'll use his guys. But if he don't have to, he won't use them, because he's like, I got this. I take care of it, and he takes care of business.
Yeah, he does. He really does.
He does. That's what I like about Gunther. It's taken me a while to have him grow on me, but I like the guy, man. I do. He's a fighting champion. That's what I like. That's what I like about him. You know? Yeah. He can back up what he says. That's what I like about him.
Absolutely.
Our next match is, let's see, was it Hell in a Cell or the Raw Women's Championship?
The Raw Women's Championship.
Okay. Raw Women's Championship. Bianca Belair defends her Raw Women's Championship against Asuka. I was rooting for Asuka in this.
Me too.
And Bianca, I like how when the bell rang out of the gates, she just went straight for Asuka. She wasn't going to give her any time to do anything. And she stayed on top of Asuka. But then all of a sudden, it was like, as she's going and going, it's like, oh shit, I got to get away from her, because she can put me in that lock and this could be over with.
Yeah, this match was a little slower. The crowd didn't seem as into it. I think they had a little bit of burnout. I think a little, because from the triple threat match and how good that was, that took a lot of energy. So I don't think this one got as much pomp from the crowd as one would think. But I think the match overall was pretty good. A couple little botches here and there, but overall was a very good match. And like you said, I was pulling for Asuka as well. I really thought Asuka was going to go over in this, but Bianca Belair, year in holding the title.
Yeah. I was shocked when she won. I did like how Bianca was prepared for the Miz spot. I like that.
That was good.
Yeah. I was like, oh shoot, man. I was hoping she'd get the Miz, but nope. She was prepared for it. She ended up doing the BST, or what is it, TKO? They call it. I like that finisher, how it goes into a Falcon Arrow, 1, 2, 3. Bianca retains, and she's been a little bit over a year as Raw Women's Championship now as champion. So I was hoping Asuka would get it, but she didn't. But yeah, I agree with you right there. The crowd wasn't too invested in it, but when it came to the spots and pinfalls, they definitely were invested.
Yeah.
They did pop. So I did like that. But yeah, it was a slow match, but it was entertaining. It definitely was. Then we had the Hell in a Cell match.
Well, before we had the Hell in a Cell match, we had an impromptu match. That was supposed to be the Miz. Miz and Snoop Dogg were out in the ring, and Snoop Dogg brought out again someone for the Miz to wrestle, which ended up being Shane McMahon.
Yes.
Now, what was bad about this, though, is Shane McMahon legitimately tore his quadriceps muscle while doing a leapfrog over the Miz. However, hats off to Snoop Dogg, because Snoop Dogg came in, jacks the Miz in the face with a right hand, gives him the Snoop Doggy Dogg elbow drop, and wins the match. And I got to give it to Snoop Dogg for being very heads up in that situation. And Triple H said it in the press conference after WrestleMania as well, that if it wasn't for Snoop being on top of that, who knows what would have happened. But Snoop being in the right frame of mind, which is funny to say for Snoop Dogg, was in the right frame of mind to be able to take action and make sure that the match carried on and that there was a conclusion.
Yeah, he did. That it was. I didn't know what the hell was going on, because I thought it was part of the show, but no, Shane McMahon
I thought he tore his ACL, to be honest, right off rip. I was like, oh nope, that's his ACL. He's done. I'm like, there's no way.
Yeah.
I was sitting here with my roommate, and I was just like, nope, there's no way. That's done. That's over.
I did like how Snoop came in and he saved the day. That was awesome. I have to say that was awesome. He's seen something was wrong. He's like, oh shit. I got to do something, man. And I'm sure he told Miz, and Miz just was like, yeah, let's just go with it. And they did, I know probably backstage Triple H probably gave him props for that. He's like, damn, man, thank you for saving my ass. Thank you. I'm sure that happened there, but it was, Snoop Dogg. He's been around wrestling enough. He should know how to do an elbow drop or something in a pin.
It didn't look horrible, but watching Snoop Dogg do anything in the ring was kind of funny, just because he's not any kind of classically trained in wrestling and what's in any kind of way. But now we have a 1-0 Snoop Dogg at Wrestlemania, so there you go.
Yeah, I know. Let's hope it don't end up like Pete Rose coming after Kane.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
Oh shit. So we do get the Hell in a Cell match. Excuse me. Hell in a Cell, Finn Balor, or no, Edge versus the Demon Finn Balor.
Mm-hmm.
I popped when I heard South of Heaven Slayer at WrestleMania. I was like,
I was just about to say,
my God. I thought I was 18 years old again in 1998 when I heard Slayer. I was just popped for that, man. I was just like, oh wow, Slayer at freaking Edge. I love Edge even more. He's a metalhead. I love it. Yep. I love it. I thought Gangrel was going to come out, but apparently he didn't come out with Edge. He was at LA, but I seen on his Twitter, but Edge comes out, the Slayer, and then Alter Bridge. And I thought Alter Bridge was going to be playing there live, but they weren't. But this was great. And then we get the Demon. I think this is the first time in WrestleMania we've seen the Demon Finn Balor come out to an entrance. Oh,
yeah, it was the first time you saw the Demon Finn Balor at WrestleMania, and it was spectacular, honestly. But that match, that match was brutal.
You know what I like about this match? No one got on top of the cell for the first time. Yeah. It reminded me of Shawn Michaels Undertaker's first Hell in a Cell match. They didn't get on top of the cell. They didn't need to, because everything was right there in the cell. The whole cell was to keep Judgment Day out, so Edge can try to secure a victory over Finn Balor. I like the use of the kendo sticks. I thought it was neat. That
was real neat.
Finn Balor. I like the beginning of the match when Edge smacked the shit out of him in the no sell. I love the no selling. It's just like, my brother's like, what the hell? I said, I told you. I told him. I was like, dude, you're going to see a different side of Finn Balor you've not seen before. He's never seen anything like this. He loved it. He was like, dude, he's like, Finn Balor's awesome. I said, I told you. I told you, man. I told you this is going to be awesome. So I like the no selling. I like the spot in the corner with the kendo sticks. Finn gets out there, and then all of a sudden we get the ladder pulled out, and Finn gets cracked in the head, which we find out he gets split open. Holy crap.
If you have not seen the picture of that yet, you have got to check it out. It is pretty gruesome, but it is epic at the same time. And I all the respect in the world to Finn Balor.
Oh wow. It was nuts, man. It definitely was nuts. Let me try this right here. Here we go, Chris.
Put it up.
Oh, I already got it.
Oh, there it is.
I already got it right here. Here we go. There we go. Look at that.
Yeah, there it is. Ugh. That is a gash.
Yeah. That's a hell of a gash, man. That's a hell of a gash.
And what was more interesting about this, when it happened, apparently people at ringside were trying to staple his head back to try to get him through the match.
Oh man, that basically that's crazy, ain't it?
Oh, absolutely, it is.
Yeah, it is. That is some crazy stuff right there. I was just like, wow, man. He definitely. I mean, he got his head cracked open there. I think. Yeah, I think he ended up getting. Yeah, he did get staples. They tried to staple it. I was wondering why they were not showing anything on the thing, man. I was wondering why. You
Because
know,
of that, man. They're not going to show that on air.
it's a pay-per-view, man. You can't show it on.
I know. I agree. But yeah.
You're gonna have some kid sit there and go,
Yeah.
no, I mean, fan reaction, but yeah, he took that ladder spot, but he kept going. That's the crazy thing about this. This guy kept going, man. He kept going, and he didn't stop. The table spot I thought was, oh man, you know Edge got hurt by that when he smashed in that table and the top part fell on top of him. I didn't expect that there.
Yeah, I didn't expect that either, and I had to hurt like hell, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But that match was so good, very, very good, start to finish. Absolutely exemplary match. Probably one of my favorite ones from the entire event. And I love seeing Edge and Finn Balor both wrestle. So to have them wrestle together in a Hell in a Cell, money.
Yeah, yeah. I was glad, Chris, that we got the original Hell in a Cell back, not the fruit of Hell in a Cell.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, you can actually see what was going on. But I guess a compromise is like, okay, we'll give you the original Hell in a Cell back, but also at the same time, you got to have red chairs and purple chairs.
Right. I thought that was interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that definitely was interesting there. But Edge hits his finisher, pins Balor 1, 2, 3, and Edge won. He defeats Balor in Hell in a Cell. He defeats the Demon. Great match and everything. Then we had a long break. I could have ran to the bathroom and I could get rid of that Taco Bell I ate earlier. I'll come back and then run back to the bathroom about 3 times. And I said to the guys on the Johners Wrestling podcast chat, shout out to you guys. I'm like, dude, I already ran to the bathroom twice. I'm going to have another beer and I'm going to go back again. And by the time I came back, I was like, it's still not on the main event. I'm like, dude, pull out the birthday cake. I'm a year older. Happy birthday, me. Because it seemed like it took forever. Then the main event roll around. Here we go. The main event, Chris, of the night. Roman Reigns defends the WWE Universal Undisputed Championship against the 2023 Royal Rumble winner, Cody Rhodes. Cody, his entrance, boom, man. It's been 1 year since he came back to WWE on this night. Great entrance, everything. I like the fact that when he went to ringside, when he went over to the ringside there, in attendance was his wife, his sister, and his mother, and his daughter, Liberty, and he took his belt off and gave it to the young boy at ringside, which come to find out was Luke Harper's son.
Yep.
How do you feel about that there?
I thought that was absolutely an amazing touch for him to still, because he's still a big part of that child's life and that family's life. So it was really great to see him at ringside and to see Cody give him the weight belt. I thought that was a wonderful touch.
Mm-hmm. It was a great touch there. And again, yeah, he's been a part of his life there. I think before Harper passed away, when Cody was back in AEW, they were going to have a big feud. Harper, Brody Lee was going to be pushed as a top heel, but that didn't happen. He passed away, and I would have loved to seen that.
Yeah,
but it was a great touch. It was.
It really was.
Mm-hmm. I love the pianos for Roman Reigns' entrance.
Yeah, that was pretty epic.
It was. That was definitely epic there. Roman Reigns comes out and he gets on the ring and we get the bell and some back and forth action, some pacing. This match, I love the pacing of the match. When a match, you can tell how a match is going to go with the pacing of it. If it's going to be, let's run in there, try to get our spots, 1, 2, 3, get out, or let's tell a story. You can tell by the first lockup. That first lockup, I'm like, yeah, this is going to be epic, because I'm like, I was pulling for the American Nightmare. I was pulling for him. There was parts where Cody got in his stuff. Roman got in his stuff. I like how Solo injected himself in the match. Ref didn't see it first time. Then around the second time, he took a belt and he took it from Brody's son, or Luke Harper's son, Brody, and then he was like, smack. I like how the ref looks up. He's like, did I just hear someone use a belt? And he turned around and looked at him, and he was like, you out.
Honestly, that ref reaction was perfect. Like, the look on his face was just perfect. So entertaining.
It was the crowd popped big time. It's like, good, Solo's out of here, and Roman's plans are being destroyed. Cody has a chance, thank God. All right, here we go. So some more action back to back. I like how Cody would counter Roman's moves from Superman punch to spear, and then Roman would countered. I love that spot where he comes off the top rope with the disaster kick, and Roman just caught his ass. It's like stuff like that is like it was a lot of oh shit moments. You're like, yeah, oh shit, oh, he countered. They were both prepared for each other in this match.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, they were. And this match was very well done. Longest match of the weekend, at about 34 and a half minutes long. And they really told a story with this. And it was a very well told story. Even with the interference that you saw when the Usos eventually came out and got involved, and Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens came out, chased off the Usos. So it was still great storytelling all the way through.
Yeah. When I seen the Usos come out, I'm like, of course. You know, and my brother goes, where's KO and Sammy? And I was like, boom, they showed up. I'm like, all right, cool. This is how we're going to end it. When Cody went in for that cover, and then when Roman kicked out, it was like, oh, dude. You know what I mean? I love the crowd reaction, man. It was like, holy shit. Then all of a sudden, Cody finally got Roman. Not one, but two. He tried to go for a third crossroads. Then all of a sudden, Heyman gets up on the stage, on the apron, and then you see a hooded figure come in and hit Rhodes in the neck. Solo comes back, cost Cody the championship
with a Samoan spike.
Samoan spike, and then he gets hit with a spear. 1, 2, 3. You're still WWE undisputed WWE Universal Champion. Roman Reigns. Yeah. And a lot of people blew up over this all over Twitter and everything, man. People were pissed. And I seen a video, Chris, of someone there at Mania after Roman Reigns wins, and you can see the person hearing something in the background, and they show the camera go up to the person. This old man, about 60 years old, just going like that.
No, I like the video I saw is right after Roman Reigns wins, and there's this guy probably like 20, 30 years old who's in the lower bowl, literally like just at his chair, just trying to break it, and then takes his water bottle, throws it, picks his water bottle back up because it didn't go where he wanted, and he threw it again, and he's just getting mad because Roman Reigns won.
Oh man, it was something there. It was something. Did you hear what Triple H said about it at the press conference?
I didn't.
You didn't. He basically said the story is never done in WWE. So right there,
which is possibly what's going to happen, because a lot of people have been speculating that Roman Reigns is going to hold the title till at least SummerSlam and possibly drop it then either to Cody Rhodes or to possibly even Sami Zayn. That's been speculated. But there's even more speculation that he could hold it all the way till next WrestleMania, which would put him at about 1,300 or so days holding the titles. So it would make him one of the longest reigning WWE champions of all time. So a lot of speculation going on with that.
I would like to see him hold it till SummerSlam. At SummerSlam, we give him a good number because he's already proven he's the all-time modern-day greatest wrestling champion in WWE. He has nothing else to prove, you know? There's one record in wrestling which I don't think anyone will ever defeat and break is the title reign of Bruno Sammartino.
I agree.
Yeah, no one's ever going to break that one. Nothing. People's going to come close, and that's about it. But no one's ever going to break it. No one is. No one's going to break that damn record. But yeah, if like we talked about this off the record, okay? If Reigns holds it at least till SummerSlam, which will be 1,000-something days, he can drop it. But like you said, if he holds it till next WrestleMania, you know, it's like at least he'll drop it to someone. Maybe it's Cody again. We'll see Cody versus Roman, you know, part 2 at Mania. And by this time at Mania next year, you could be like, man, look at all the shit Cody went through for this whole year after his big loss. Bubba Ray on Busted Open Radio on Sirius XM said it best this morning. This is Cody's hard times right now. Mm-hmm. This is his hard times. He didn't get it done at the biggest show, the biggest stage of them all. And so now this is his hard times, and he's got to come back from it now. We got obstacle and diversity. There we go. There we go right there. That's something that I felt like I told you has been missing.
Absolutely. And it's going to be interesting to see how WWE is going to approach this, especially with the changes that have been happening concerning WWE. It's going to be interesting to see how things play out, which we'll get into those changes here in just a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All in all, WrestleMania 39, night 1, night 2. Let's do it like this. What do you on a scale 1 to 5? How do you give a night 1 of WrestleMania 39?
Let's see. Night 1, I'd have to give like a 4.8.
4.8. Night 2.
Night 2 was not as good. I'd probably have to give it about a 3.5.
3.5. I give night 1 about a 4.8, and I give night 2 about a 3. That's about what I give on a scale 1 to 5 there. All right. Great WrestleMania. One of the highest, most marketable money-making machine. I mean, you know, this year for WWE, they made the most money out of this than anything, advertising and everything and stuff. This was the Super Bowl. This is the Super Bowl of wrestling, and it certainly was there.
Well, they made I think it was about 21 million in just ticket sales alone at the gate. So with that mixed in with the ad revenue, which I also heard was pushing about 20 million as well, they definitely made some money off this WrestleMania.
Yeah, the
merch sales were up too by about 40% from last year.
That's great. Profitable, man. People have been waiting for this for months, since January, since it was, announced. And they were coming to this no matter what for night 1, night 2. And people did, for night 1, night 2, I think the record was 121,967, something like that.
It was 161,975, if I remember correctly.
They broke records. And something else that broke that Sunday night, right before Mania started, there was already speculation and rumors going online about WWE finally had a sale. WWE finally had a sale. And that sale was that apparently Endeavor, the same company that owns UFC, was in the process of making the final purchase of WWE at the price that they announced there. And then Monday, Chris, we find out, yeah, WWE sold. It was true. Yep, they officially made the announcement. Of course, it, WWE sold, man.
Yeah,
It sold
the approach of it is that it's more of a merger, but still, WWE now does not have its controlling interest as Endeavor takes over at 51% controlling interest of WWE. However, it's been announced that they will not have any kind of direct control over production or storyline elements. So that at least is one thing they can use to their advantage. However, we've already seen that Vince McMahon is going to be a big part of WWE going forward. Apparently, he already took over creative when it came to Raw last night, as well as taking control of creative possibly going forward. So that's been very troublesome, I think, for some, because a lot of people like this Triple H led regime of storytelling. So this has been met with a lot of mixed emotions from people. So but you look at the valuation, WWE is worth just over $9 billion, UFC worth of just over $12 billion, which now combined makes $21 billion entity of UFC and WWE under the Endeavor branding. So this is going to be interesting. And I don't know if you saw the press conference that Vince McMahon had, but I don't know about that mustache, man.
I know. Yeah, that's the one thing that gets me is that about that mustache there. Yeah, you're talking about this one right here. This news just broke right here, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to say this: you're hearing it on the Everett Lee show that Vince McMahon is confirmed to be starring for the Pink Panther remake. Right there, ladies and gentlemen, you see on the screen.
Oh my gosh, it's horrible.
I am Jack Cousteau. I'm going to find the villain of the story.
Oh, too good. Too good. Oh my gosh, that is too good. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to kind of see what happens with everything going forward, because it was perceived at first that possibly the Saudi Arabian government was going to try and purchase WWE outright, as well as different things when it came to Vince McMahon controlling TV contracts and trying to get things dealt with in that regard when he came back. But now it's turned into this entire sale and merger. So it's going to be very interesting to see kind of what happens moving forward. But the biggest thing that people are going to now have to look at the reality of is that now crossover promotion is going to be a lot easier when they're both owned by the same company, which means you're probably going to see UFC fighters and stuff appear on WWE programming, and you're going to see WWE superstars appearing on UFC programming. So it's going to be very interesting. And then you're going to have the further crossover possibilities when you talk to talent like the Brock Lesnar's, the Ronda Rousey's, the Shannon Baszler's, who've done mixed martial arts as well as wrestling. So it's going to be very interesting to see what this actually means going forward.
It definitely is going to be interesting there. I'm looking at Vince McMahon's mustache.
It's too good.
Yeah, it is. I've seen one of like him looking like Mario Brothers.
Oh my god, that is great.
Oh, here. Let me here. I'll show you right here. I had it on my phone today. I found it and I sent it to one of my friends at work. They're like, "Are you crazy?"
Oh my god, that is great. That is so good.
Vince McMahon, Mario. Look at that. Look at me, I'm a Mario.
Oh snap.
People are just like losing their stuff over this and stuff. Yeah, it's interesting, but what got me was I was looking into this here. Okay. I was looking into the who Endeavor is. I'm like, who is Endeavor? Who is this? And come to find out, it's run by a longtime friend of Vince's named Ariel Emmanuel. He owns Endeavor, and he pretty much said, Vince was months ago. If you look at this, Vince was like, okay, he retired. He stepped away from WWE from June till now. Mm-hmm. It's been great. Vince muscled his way back in December. He persuaded the board to have him come back. He comes back. Stephanie steps down and leaves as co-CEO. And there started speculation that Vince is back now. But no, he's the executive chairman. He's just here to see a sale. Okay. Nick Khan, who's a con man, he lied to everyone. He lied to everyone's faces. Oh, Vince is not back in creative. Bullshit. Bruce Pritchard lied to everyone. Oh, yeah, no. Vince hasn't touched creative since he left. Bullshit. Yeah. He lied. Triple H basically lied last night on Monday Night Raw. And basically, like, if you look at the way he worded his sentences, it was like Vince saying, I'm here. I'm never going to leave. I'm here now, then, and forever. The way I look at it there. Vince signed himself a 2-year contract with the company. Re-signed. It was all what it was to get back into power because of that scandal he had. Mm-hmm. Vince basically got caught, and he paid off. He tried to pay off, with hush money. And the guy actually, Vince, should be paying for his crimes for what he did. He should be gone. But he was going to oversee the sale, and then he was going to leave, and that was it. But then Ariel, Emmanuel of Endeavor's like, no, we decided to keep Vince around, because in this guy's mind, Vince is wrestling. That's when he thinks of WWE. You think of Vince McMahon. This guy, he must have got hit in the head a few times, by some UFC fighters. I mean, I'm just saying. Here's something. Triple H, he needs to look back at from June to November how much profit WWE made. And it was becoming so successful with his daughter running it and his son-in-law doing creative. Vince was like, no one can make money except me with this. And he had to muscle his way back in and take it back over.
But here's the big thing, though, and this is one thing that people have to look at, is that Vince McMahon could still get indicted.
Yeah.
And get brought in by the U.S. government to answer for the hush money issue.
Exactly. No one reports about this. There's outlets out there. There's other podcasts that have talked about this. Excuse me. And freely have talked about this, and they get yelled at. They get almost canceled because they mention this. And right. Then you got people like the Wrestling Observer who's like, yeah, you for $5 a month, we can tell you, you sign up, you can hear this content. We'll tell you if Vince is actually behind creative. And when you do, it's like, they're like, no, bullshit. It's bullshit, man. Vince, perfect example of what happened was last night. Mm-hmm. One of the most awfulest Monday Night Raws in history. This is
horrible ratings.
The night before WrestleMania, the crowd you still bring that crowd over for WrestleMania. We want to have some fun, man. What do you got? You got your biggest crowd of the year. What are you going to do? You're going to put matches together, Chris, to promote your upcoming pay-per-view, to get people like, you know what? I'm going to tune in for this. I'm going to buy tickets. I'm going to Puerto Rico, man. I'm going to Puerto Rico. I'm going to get my tan on. I'm going to watch some wrestling. Have a good time. None of that. None of that. Hey, yeah, well, one thing. Yeah, Bad Bunny's the host of Backlash. We now every pay-per-view is going to have a host. Who's going to host SummerSlam? You know, I mean, if SummerSlam was in Brooklyn this year, what do we got? Your host for SummerSlam, the Brooklyn Brawler. Hey, yo. Come on. You know, this is just nuts, man. And you cannot say after what you seen last night that this was a Vince McMahon show. And the only people that they need to go in for a CAT scan for their head if they say, you know what? This was a pretty good Monday Night Raw. Bullshit, man.
It was garbage.
Get out of your ass. Garbage. I'm sure.
I watched bits and pieces of it because honestly, I was more watching the NCAA March Madness National Championship game between San Diego State and UConn, which was a great game, by the way. But from what I saw, very disappointing on all fronts. And the main event, now this is what got me, was supposed to be a tag match because Roman Reigns wouldn't do an outright rematch for Cody. So it was going to be Roman Reigns and I think Solo versus Brock Lesnar and Cody Rhodes, to which you have Brock Lesnar just F5 Cody Rhodes for no reason. And it's like, okay, now what are we doing? Like, that's horrible storytelling.
The only thing, Chris, that came out of last night, man, I'm telling you, the only thing that came out last night was the Street Profits won their match at WrestleMania, and they challenged Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens for the tag team championships. Number one contenders want the belts. All right, let's do it. They had the match. That pretty much was the most advanced storyline. The script got rewritten 4 times. 4 freaking times. And do you know people's going to look, and Vince is going to look and not take the blame. He's going to look at his son-in-law and say, you did this. I didn't.
What's even crazier is that it was rumored that Vince had like his own area set up for him to be able to work in, like his own office space, so he could try and rewrite Raw and work on the storyline and all the creative elements. And it was absolutely ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you how bad it was, Chris. Towards the end of the night, my brother, who's a big wrestling fan, looks over at me. He goes, "This is Monday Night Raw?" I said, "Yeah." He's like, "This absolutely sucks." And he don't say that much. Honestly, my brother does not say that much. And then when Brock Lesnar F5 Cody, he flew out of his chair. He almost hurt his knee because he's on disability. And he goes, he flies out and he goes, "What the fuck is that, man?" And he's like, "I want to see a tag match, not this shit." He's like, "Turn it off." He wanted me to turn it off. I said, "Let's just see what's going to happen." He's like, he was like, "Turn it off, turn it off." A lot of
people were heated. A lot of people were heated over that.
Man, he got heated when Rhodes lost at WrestleMania Sunday night, and Chris, he got so heated when this happened. It's just like, wow. And then, yeah, a lot of people were mad at this, man. I came home last night. I tell you what, I was so mad I couldn't even make love to my wife. I went straight to bed. That's how mad I was. I came home and my wife's like, "Did you enjoy Raw?" I said, "No." And she's like, "You want to give me a kiss?" I said, "No." And I rolled over. I went to bed. I shut the lights off. I said, "Good night." That's how mad I was.
No hanky panky for you.
Hanky panky. No hanky panky. I was pissed. I was so pissed, man.
It's now.
I was so pissed that it basically all I could think about was that how bad that show was. I couldn't even please my wife last night. You know what? I'm gonna sue WWE for ED for mentally ED because I couldn't please my wife last night.
Oh
So
my God.
thank you very ah,
That's hilarious.
I couldn't, man. I couldn't. She was wanting some loving, and Big D couldn't take it home, man. Thank you for that, WWE. Damn. Unhappy wife, unhappy life. I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. I was hoping I wouldn't wake up this morning with the divorce papers, on the fridge with my kids' magnets and stuff that says I want a divorce.
I'm sorry you didn't wake up on the couch.
I know. I know. I was surprised I get dragged to the couch, and get tossed on there. Yeah, I was so upset I couldn't even make love to my wife, man. That's pretty bad. It was bad. I was upset about it, man. I was upset, but yeah, it just something needs to be changed, man. Something needs to happen. Something does,
honestly, because we're not going to be able, I think, to survive more Vince and his creative ideas anymore. This isn't the 80s and 90s anymore. We're in the 2020s. Like, this is a whole different age of wrestling. So hopefully something good will break, and hopefully we'll be able to talk about it sometime soon.
Yeah, definitely. We can definitely talk about it sometime soon. What was I going to say? I was looking on Twitter there. People were tweeting to Ariel Emanuel saying, kick Vince out, put Triple H in charge, kick him out. And you know what? I watched the CNBC interview that Vince did. And Vince basically was like, yeah, I'm not in the weeds anymore like I used to. Bullshit. You wrote all over that damn show last night, man. You shit on it, man. You shit on it. You took a flaming dump on it. That's what you did, man. He did. And there people are saying, we're tweeting to Ariel Emanuel, the owner of Endeavor. They're like, dude, put Triple H in charge. Put him in charge. And I was laughing at the tweets, man. I'm like, people were like tweeting. It's like fire Vince. Twitter was when worst Monday night Raw just starts trending. They got to look at it, and this guy has to look at it and be like, But Ariel Emanuel said it best. He's like, yeah, Vince takes care of the wrestling thing. I don't. Well, you know what? You should now after last night trending on Twitter, bud.
Yeah, that's not good.
It's not good. I mean, I'm sure if something happened UFC, he'll be all over that. If like he'll be like coming to Dana White, be like, hey, what happened? Hey, you better talk to your boy Vince, man. You better talk to him, man, because he definitely looks like a Gomez Adams stand-in right now. So you better talk to Gomez. Better talk to him, man. You better. But wow. Hopefully, yeah, something will come out for the better of this here. But, well, it's been great talking with you again and doing a WrestleMania recap. I haven't done one of these in years, man. This is fun. This is fun doing this with you again, Chris. I appreciate it so much.
I appreciate you, brother. And thank you for having me on, man. It's good stuff.
It is. You got a lot going on again. You mentioned at the beginning of the program, at the top of the program, what do you have going on, and where can people find you on social media?
A lot of stuff going on. You can find Chris Carnage on social media, on Facebook at facebook.com/Chris Carnage Official, on Twitter at Planet Carnage, and on Instagram at The Chris Carnage. You can also find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Chris Carnage Official, where you can find me live most days of the week. Actually, after this show, I'll be going live and doing some NCAA college football tonight. We'll be playing 3 games as we advance our dynasty mode with Notre Dame. So it's going to be a lot of fun, but I'll be live probably about 10:30. So definitely make sure to check that out. A lot of great stuff that's going to be going on with Chris Carnage over the course of this year, including the push to go to Mad with Power Festival, which we'll have more on that later on social media and on Twitch. So definitely make sure to check all that out.
Nice. Thank you so much, Chris. And I want to thank everyone for tuning in to this live stream of the Everett Lee Show. This will not be the last live stream because there's still plenty more months left out of this year as the Everett Lee continues to finish out 2023 of its podcast run. And unexpectedly, you will find Everett Lee being live here and there. It's a special event type of thing. It's like Christmas for live stream. So tune in, brothers and sisters. Tune in to the Everett Lee Show when we go live like this right here. And I want to thank everyone for downloading and listening to the audio portion of this podcast on where you listen to your audio podcast at on Spotify, iHeart, Amazon Music, iTunes, Apple Podcast, and even viewing this live stream right here on the Everett Lee Show Facebook page. You can watch a replay of it on here on the Everett Lee Show. Just search Everett Lee Show. Twitter, we're live on Twitter right now on the Everett Lee Show Twitter at the Everett_Lee. And on YouTube, you can watch the video upload of this on there on YouTube, Everett Lee. Just search that there and I shall pop up Everett Lee Show. And I want to thank everyone for tuning in and listening to this WrestleMania 39 recap and sale and awful Monday Night Raw review. So everyone have a good night and a good week, and we'll see you again next time for another new episode of the Everett Lee Show. Peace.
Follow The Everett Lee Show on the following social media platforms: Facebook, The Everett Lee Show; Twitter, at The Everett_Lee; Instagram, Everett Lee. Subscribe, follow The Everett Lee Show on the following platforms: Anchor.fm/Everett Lee Show, YouTube, Everett Lee, and Johners Podcast Network, WrestlingWithJohners.com.